Hi guys, Virginia here and I'm back with another 12 by 12 process video for you today using the May Kitaholic Kits, and I was just showing you the photo. It's Eddie all dressed in her wet weather gears in the cow shed, and you can see the cows in the background. So I've created this cut file just on my Silhouette Cameo, and it's pretty simple. Just love this. And let me say, I love this layout. To get it? I do. I haven't done a mixed media page in a long time, and the watercolors that came in the color kit, mixed media kit this month kind of spurred me on and got me going again. So what I've done is just cut this on my Cameo on some white cardstock, and there's some sequins in the kit as well, so I decided to make a couple of shaker pockets within the words. So I'm going to do acetate for the O and on the S as well. So I'm just taking the inside pieces of each of the letters. So I'm doing the O now and just kind of cutting a little bit larger than what it is so that I could attach it to the cut file. And I just put a thin line of Scotch tacky glue around the edges, and then I'm going to place that piece of acetate on the cut file. So just press it down, make sure it's going to stay. So I've done the O and the S in acetate, and then I'm going to do 3 letters in just plain vellum. So I'm going to do the V, the T and the I in plain vellum, and that just adds a bit of like a cloudiness, but still clear enough to see the mixed media underneath. So I've just done the same process, except I've traced around the letters, and then I've cut just slightly larger than the pencil line. I've erased those pencil lines, and then I'm just doing again a thin line of Scotch tacky glue around the edge of those letters, and then I'll put the vellum in place. Okay, so for the other 3 letters I am going to use pattern paper, and this is from the 12 by 12 pattern paper from the kit. But this pink matched kind of perfectly with what I was going to use, and I'm using the Simple Swiss Bliss die cut pack. That there's purple in that die cut pack, and there's no purple in the pattern papers, but there's similar shades of pink to what's in the die cut packs, which is why I chose this pink pattern paper. And it actually turned out very handy that it was a spot for my journaling to go on as well. So, yeah, win-win. Okay, so I've backed the L, the H and the E, the same process that I did the others. And now I'm going to just create my shaker pockets and then put foam behind the rest of it. So I've just got a single-sided piece of adhesive foam. I've cut it into a really thin line. And if you take the adhesive backing off, it makes it very pliable and easily to bend around that those shapes. So I'm doing a continuous row of it so that I don't lose any sequins or anything out of my little pocket. So I'll just do the O, excuse me, and then we'll kind of skip forward to when I'm done. Rightio. So there we go, all done, and you can see I've got shaker pockets in the O and the S. Right, so I am using my background paper is a piece of the Vicky Booten mixed media paper that I bought from the Kitaholic Kits shop. I've had a little play on it, and it holds watercolours beautifully. No need to prime your paper with gesso. So yeah, so now I'm going to work at mixing my colours. I'm going to go for the purple, the green and pink that's in this die cut pack that's kind of going with the flowers that are in there. So I've just mixed my colours. I've mixed a dark purple, the darkest purple and some white, and added a bunch of water. These colours are really pigmented, and then I'm just kind of picking it up with a bit of packaging and smushing it down. You can see it's very, very dark there, but I do end up picking up a little bit of it shortly. So I've sped this up quite a bit, but I've left the entire process in so you can see what I do when I'm mixing my colours. And you can see I've got a bit of scrap piece of white paper just to test the colour on before I put it onto my background. Okay, so I'm using this lovely light tealy colour, the dark green and white, and I'm trying to make a somewhat of a minty tealy green, if that makes sense. So I'm just working it, trying to lighten it now, and I've got Eddie on my shoulder going, add some yellow, mum, add some yellow. She's 4. But you wait and see what happens when I add some yellow. And I end up getting the shade that I want because I add yellow. So I'm going to claim this as my doing, that she knows how to mix colours, because we sit every morning. There we go. I've got yellow and it works. I drop her off in the morning at kindy, and she goes straight to the paints, and we sit and we talk about paint and how do we mix colours, and what colours we mix to make certain colours, and what do we do if we add white, it'll lighten it, what colour makes brown, what colour makes green, all that kind of stuff. So I'm claiming her little input as my influence. Anyway, okay, so that green's really dark, but I do lighten it by picking up a bit of the excess colour. Okay, so I'm going to work on the pinky colour that I want. So I'm going to use a red. I pull out a bit of a really light, I'm not going to say what I think the colour actually looks like, but it's a light brown and a bit of white, and I mix it in and I get a really kind of dusty pink colour. So I'm just smushing that on. And when I put it on now, I'm thinking, oh no, I've ruined it. This colour isn't quite right. But I was looking at the colour that's on the pattern paper, but there are some darker shades, and it ends up actually looking great in the end. So I didn't quite ruin it. Rightio. So some splatters. Just adding a bit of extra colour after I've picked up all of the excess with my paper towel. And I'm just going to clean off my brush, clean my work surface. I should have cut this out, sorry. Rightio. So I'm just going to dab up any excess wet drops, and then I'm going to add some splatters of gold Highly Swap Colour Shine, just to add a bit of interest. And the sequins in the kit has some gold hearts, so it seemed kind of fitting to bring in some gold. And then I do just use my heat gun just to dry the rest. So there we go. All pretty, all finished. That gold's very pretty. My paper is slightly warped, but once I get the cut file on and glued down, it actually really straightened it out. So don't be deterred by the warped paper. Rightio. So I'm pretty much just going to exclusively use this die cut pack for embellishing. I do add some bits and pieces later on, but yeah. So I decided to have my photo in between the H and the I. It just kind of fit there nicely, and it wasn't covering up too much of the letters. And I decided to double up those tags underneath the S. That was just a bit of interest behind that shaker pocket. A couple of flower die cuts above the E. A little umbrella. Now, it wasn't raining, but Eddie's in her gumboots and wet weathers, so or maybe it was raining if she's in her wet weather jacket. It probably was, but yeah, I like this die cut pack because it had a little gumboot as well, so that's what kind of drew me in and made me really want to use it. So I pulled out the wreath and I tuck that large floral piece right down, and that kind of fills in that gap, and it's really nice because you can see it peeking behind either side of the O and the V, but it's really soft behind the V because of that vellum. A little banner that says Happy Little Moments, and it fit perfectly over the O, so that gets tucked over there. The word lovely I placed just down below the bottom of the photo, and that kind of fits around Eddie's feet really nicely, and here's the gumboot. So I tuck that under the photo. I wanted it to be seen, but I didn't want it to feel like it was floating and just sitting on its own, so a little flower on top kind of makes it feel at home. A black and white butterfly, because why not? A little green floral. It ends up getting tucked behind the banner up the top on the O. When I get there we go. Okay, a little bird, and I tuck that on the L there, and that fits in there quite nicely. Okay, last little few bits and pieces. I've put kind of the rest of the stuff to the side, so I've got a black and white polka dot heart, and I've kind of tucked that one underneath the vellum so you can still see it kind of peeking under there. And then I'm going to repeat another heart, that green and flower one on top, so that's just a nice little touch. And there is another black heart with flowers on it, and that ends up getting tucked under the end of the word lovely, and that just kind of finishes off that side of the photo. It makes it feel like the word lovely isn't floating. And a little floral die cut, which does go under the umbrella. When I get there, I do eventually put it back. There we go. I should just follow my instincts. Rightio, I'm rather happy with everything, so I'm going to start gluing everything down. The butterfly has a bit of foam behind either side of its wings, and then I've just adhered it to the E with a bit of glue down the centre of it. The word lovely at the bottom of the photo gets some foam behind it, and the black banner across the O has some foam behind it, and the little flowers at the bottom of the bird's feet get some foam behind it, but everything else is just adhered directly to the page. But we'll skip ahead. I don't make you watch me glue everything down. I'm just basically working my way from the top down, just to make sure everything doesn't get moved. So there we go. You can see I've got a whole lot of bits and pieces on, trying to keep everything flat and adhered. So I'm just going to put some gold thread in my tags, and I'm just kind of pulling it through, looping it around it, and then I'm going to attach it with my tiny attacher, just to keep that thread in place so it doesn't go all over the show. So I'll repeat the same process for the other tag as well, and I've glued them down. So now it's time to put my sequins in place. So I'm just kind of lifting them up and putting them where I think they need to be. So I put a bunch under the O and then some under the S, and you can see they're all in place. So I'm going to glue everything down. I'm going to put glue around the entire edge of the shaker pockets to make sure that they stay flat and I don't lose sequins, and then I'll just be a bit more liberal and with all the other letters. Okay, it's all glued up, and I'm just going to place my cut file. Just lining it up, making sure I don't have any sequins going awry. I do have a couple in the S that get caught, so I just pull them out. So the important thing is when you're using wet glue and you're making a shaker pocket is to not just pick it up and shake it before the glue dries, because that often ends up with sequins stuck to the side of your pocket. So give it a good time to dry before you start shaking those sequins around the page. Believe me, I have been there, done that. Okay, rightio. So I've kind of put some things on it just to make sure it dries flat, and I've come back now and it's all nice and flat, and it's straightened out my page, so that's a good thing. I pulled out some of these little resin flowers. Now I do pull a couple of purple ones from my stash just because there's purple in the collection, so I wanted to add to it, but then all the other coloured ones are from the kit. So I've got a lovely green one and a purple one from my stash, and I use 3 purple ones, sorry. I add 2 of the pink, 2 of the green, and 2 white ones, and just kind of scatter them around, and they're a really nice little touch on the page. So I had a lot of fun with this layout. I really do love this layout. It came out really neat. Rightio. So I'm going to glue them down where they are. Just some Scotch tacky glue, it holds them just fine. I do sprinkle a few sequins around the page just to kind of add to it. I know that there's a bunch of sequins in those shaker pockets, but it's always nice to have more. So I don't make you watch me do all of that. They're just kind of scattered around. So I add a few of them, and I will write my journaling on the H. It was just kind of fitting. I hadn't actually planned to journal, but yeah. A little bit more gold Heidi Swapp colour shine, and that'll be it for my page. So if you're interested in getting a Kitaholic kit, there is a link in the description box below to the shop, and there's also a link to the Kitaholic Kits community Facebook page if you want to pop on over, have a chat, share any of your work. Everyone's welcome. But till next time, I'll see you later. Bye guys.